Thank you very much to Ofensa Sitimo there. Let's continue here now. The National Library of South Africa, together with the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and Unisa's Department of Information Science, are hosting the second biennial National Reading Summit. The Reading Summit aims to assess the role of literacy in the National Development Plan vision of 2030 and focuses on contributing to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal as well as the Agenda 2063 of the African Union to improve literacy in Africa. Now, to tell us a little bit more about the summit, we are now joined via Zoom by Nokuthula Musa, Executive Director, Core Programs, National Library of South Africa. A very good afternoon to you, ma'am. Talk to us a little bit about the National Reading Summit and essentially what motivated the National Library, of South Africa to conceptualize the National Reading Summit.
Okay, greetings everybody, and thank you very much for the opportunity. The National Library of South Africa was inspired to do something about reading when we were hearing all the statistics that come out from the Pearl study, from Thrive by 5, from South African Book Development Council about the poor state of our reading culture in South Africa. So we felt that let's bring together stakeholders, people who are involved in the literacy sector, librarians, educators, academics, researchers, NGOs, and let's come together and check what is going on, what are we doing, where can we collaborate, how can we strengthen our efforts and work together towards improving the culture of reading in South Africa. That is what really inspired the National Library of South Africa to do something about to actually come up with the Reading Summit.
All right, so talk to us about where you've seen the biggest concern, in terms of how we are faring, especially here in South Africa, as it, speaks to literacy. I mean, of course, we know that it also varies, from different age groups, etc. So where have you seen, some of the biggest concern, and what are you really trying to say in terms of, how you can, close the gaps a little bit, particularly if you start looking at some of the visions that you are aligned to, including the National Development Plan?
Okay, so our biggest focus right now is early literacy development or emerging literacy, because we are also hearing one of the presenters today was telling us how is this impacting academic sectors and student dropouts, because even some of our graduates can't read. So the impact is quite big, and it's quite important that we start at an early age, especially really focus our attention and support the interventions of the Department of Basic Education and other partners and role players, and in actually working with them at the foundation phase and make sure that by the time they reach high school or academic sector, they are ready, they can read, they can be critical thinkers and generate new knowledge and come up with solutions to the challenges facing our country. So basically that's really our focus, but we are also looking at what other people are doing, the research. We are also looking at looking holistically, not just at interventions alone, looking at the research that is informing policy, coming up with new solutions that will really make a difference in trying to improve the culture of reading.
And what exactly are you hoping, you will come out of the summit, having to implement, particularly in those areas of concern that you have identified? What is the summit hoping ultimately to achieve?
Okay, the main thing is the collaboration, because we realize that there's a lot of duplication in terms of initiatives and intervention. So even in the previous summit, we have already started to strengthen the collaboration between the NGOs, between government. We are seeing more NGOs coming on board and more other partners coming on board, saying, let's work together. Let's try to find resources. If the challenge is reading resources, if the challenge is training, let's work together. Let's find people who are strong in training or strong in resources or strong in doing this and that, and come together and find solutions. So we're really hoping for stronger collaborations, because we don't believe that this should be a talk show that ends on Friday when the summit ends. We are hoping that We will have stronger collaborations that are ongoing. We will collaborate in research that we believe will inform and assist in policy making and more research and evidence-based solutions to some of these challenges, and also sharing of resources, because a government on its own does not have all the money and the wisdom to solve challenges of society. So if someone else is strong in a particular area, let's come together. We are really hoping that in this gathering, we have educators, we've got librarians, we've got academics, we've got publishers, we've got community activists that are involved in reading. So we are saying, let's come together. Who is strong? And it's an opportunity also for networking and partnerships. We are hoping that we will have these communities of practice or working groups where we will be working on areas of common interest and trying to find solutions, so that when we have the 2025 Reading Summit, we have got something positive, something taking the country or taking us forward, and some positive and some inspiring research that has come out, or even stories and experiences and some practical work that has been done in terms of improving literacy, and even hoping that we will even collaborate on evaluating some of these initiatives, because there's a lot that is being done out there, but we are not doing a lot of evaluation and talking more also about what the country is really doing in improving literacy. That's what we really hope to achieve.
I agree with not doing enough, because, I mean, as this report by Groundout says, basic literacy among children in South Africa has declined drastically with, just a few provinces like Gauteng and the Western Cape really trying to address the problem. So we will definitely come back to you, Nokuthula, after the summit and just engage in terms of what decisions have been taken. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Nokuthula Musa.
Thank you so much.
She's the Executive Director, Core Programs, National Library of South Africa.